guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Gap getting their karma. Now guys, when Gap cut ties with Ye, we thought that the company would be good, right? Because we didn't hear anything about them disrespecting Ye or telling the world that they were going to hold on to Ye's designs and his money. But the company was still found sneakingly selling the merchandise on a Chinese site, irrespective of the fact that they told the world that they were going to cut ties with him. They were found selling those clothing. So Gap had intentions on capitalizing, right? Because the company, again, was in bad shape. Just imagine, Ye was helping these companies out of a recession. He was helping them from falling in the rut. And you go ahead and disrespect the man like that off of one teeth? It's a damn shame. Now, we know that Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase, they've gotten their karma. Adidas have gotten their karma. And Balenciaga has gotten their karma. Guess what? So too is Gap. Like, listen, I don't know what chapter of the Bible Ye is reading, but he needs to write a book and tell us what he's doing. Because I believe that man is divinely protected. And it's something that I've always said. I've been saying it for so long because every time someone tries to challenge this man, they are put to shame and disgrace. Listen, Ari Emanuel is no exception to that, being put to shame and disgrace. But that video is for another time. Now, based on a report from the Insider, Gap and Banana Republic are closing another, that word is very important, 350 stores. Listen, business is just not good for Gap and they have no alternative. So basically they're saying that even though they're saying 350 stores today, there might be a second wave of the retail apocalypse, which means that Gap may very well go out of business based on what this article is saying. Just imagine that. You guys could be doing so much better if you guys had said, you know what? We are going to take a step back to reevaluate our business terms with Mr. Ye. No, you guys didn't want that. You people always want to prove that you have some kind of power over the black man. As always, you want his designs, his ideas, you want him to help you to build out the company, but then you're always proving that you have power over him. But God said, no, not this time around in history. The black people have suffered too much, and rightfully so. Because, I mean, everyone was actually shocked to see how JP Morgan Chase disrespected Ye because Ye tweeted that he was denied a meeting with one of the top executives at JP Morgan Chase Bank. Chase Bank was like, hell, come get your account. You're talking about us on social media. He didn't divulge any information. He wasn't even disrespectful or shady about it. He was very disappointed that this is a bank that he has millions of dollars in, right? I forgot that amount that they said he had in that bank, right? Now, we're going to talk about something else as well. Making note on that. Sorry about the background noise, guys. But if you guys remember the figure that was discussed, where people assume that Ye had a little bit over $1 billion in JP Morgan Chase Bank, right? So after Adidas cut ties with him, many people believe that over $1 billion just disappeared and he became poor all of a sudden, just in 1 week. But many people are not, calculating the figures. The figures are what truly speaks for themselves, right? So it goes to show that the media is always targeting their efforts at what they want to put out there, and especially if they're being paid. Because honestly, at this point, I believe that there are a few media outlets that are being paid based on how they choose to report about people and based on the information they always choose to report. Something might be trending about Adidas downfall. Those media outlets will back away from those reports, but they will come up with a fake news about Ye, one that's hot and steamy to distract everyone from a major that distracts everyone from Adidas having a major downfall. So as such, this is how you know that, the media outlets, you have to go through them, with a fine-tooth comb most of the times to identify if they're telling a lie or if they're speaking facts. Again, we can use that example of where his law firm, Greenberg Torrig, basically said that they wanted to cut ties with him. And the media was like, oh, yeah, he's going to lose his court cases by default because his lawyers are going to cut ties with him via newspaper article. And I told you guys, they couldn't have done that. They have to go in front of a judge and legally ask to be excused from a case. And the court system, right, the legal system has to give an individual, it doesn't matter who you are, enough time to get yourself a lawyer, give the lawyer enough time to gather enough evidence to, argue your statement in court. So immediately we could see that media is owned and controlled, and as such, they will always tell lies on Ye, and they would not report on stuff that makes Ye look good, makes him look like a genius, and the other guys are just plain stupid. They would not do that. But let's get back to this, right? So 350 Gap and Banana Republic stores are set to close in North America by the end of 2023. Parent company Gap Inc. announced on Thursday, right? It says by the end of 2023, only roughly 870 Banana Republic and Gap stores will remain open in the US and Canada compared to 1,216 in 2019. It says the closure comes as a part of Gap's plan to move out of malls as the pandemic sends foot traffic spiraling even lower. But that is not making any sense right there, right? Because we are in 2023. We can say life has gone back to normal for the most part. Every time people hear that there's a new strain of C19, everyone keeps going about minding their own business. People are not that scared anymore because, we were shocked with so many different waves of fear factors that at this time we're just over it. We're saying, you know what, we're trusting God, we're moving on, we're doing what we know we're supposed to do, and we're just going to go about our business. If I have to go to the mall, I'm going. I don't care what was reported the day before about C19. Honestly, I'm going. And I believe that is what most people do. So what Gap is saying is really not making any sense. However, they're just saying that they want their staff to gear up and know that they'll be losing their jobs over the course of this year. And they're telling the other stores to gear up because there might be an apocalypse, which means that they may close all their retail location. Now, this is just crazy. It says that on Thursday, which is last week, right? So that would be, let me check to see what date that would be. So we have a record. We're creating a record for history, right? So Gap is basically saying that last week, Thursday, they announced the plans to close roughly 350 stores, right? By the end of 2023, which represents a 30% in the total numbers of location. But we're hearing that before this year ends, it's going to go up to 40, and into next year, it could be a total, meltdown of the brand Gap. Listen, I love Gap so much. That's the honest truth. Like, it's sad. It's sad when brands that you've come to love and trust over the years, they're just so disappointing. You find out that these corporations, they don't care about anyone. They don't care about you, me, or anyone. They just care about, making their money and, making as much profit as they can. So they really It's heartbreaking because I love Gap jeans. I love their clothing. It was the same for me and Adidas. I love an Adidas brand. I mean, you know that black people have carried Adidas on their backs. No one was supporting Adidas like the black community. If you go back and you look into, those classical music videos, from the 80s, the R&B genre, the soul, every black artist and entertainer was wearing Adidas. So the moment that they say, you know what, we were going to cut ties with Ye, he's being anti Semitic, people were like, okay, we understand you wanting to protect your brand. But when they came back and they told us that we're going to keep his money, we're going to keep his designs, they stole his kid's IP, allegedly, his IP, and they froze his bank account. That is something that he spoke about, and they just ripped this man off of quite a, I think they've robbed him of over $1 billion, maybe $2 billion, right? Everyone was like, hell no, you don't do that to a black man. And you're telling us, the black community that has been carrying your brand for all these years, that this is what you're going to do? Hell no, we're not going to support you on that. And that is where Adidas lost. And then when they kept changing their numbers about how much they're actually losing in profits, some people were making notes and saying, Adidas, you're not making any sense, because a month ago you said this was the figure. This month you're coming back with a smaller figure. It could be a mistake, but listen, even financial analysts were doing their homework and they were able to figure out that Adidas was nothing but a bunch of lies. Now, for Gap, it's really disappointing to see. We never saw this coming. But guess what? Business is changing. And if companies do not know how to roll with the flow, they will get left behind. And this is what happens when they don't have a genius working with anymore. They get left behind. They have someone who doesn't know. Because if you guys remember, Gap was to open additional stores while they were with Ye. They told him that they would open additional stores. Ye was targeting black communities for stores to be opened, right? So that people could get jobs, and he also wanted to offer more affordable clothing. And they told him, yes, they will do it, right? And they never ever granted one wish or one thing from the contract to that man. Goes to show, nothing but a den of thieves. But guys, this is all I want to share in this video with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. And while you're at it, we say goodbye to Gap, JP Morgan Chase, Adidas, and Balenciaga. Sorry, not sorry.